Mike and Sandy Schott are the founders of the ministry, and they adopted Sophia from this same orphanage.
It really touched all of our hearts seeing Sophia going back to the orphanage where she came from. All these years later, just seeing the emotion that was there for her.
Like hug them, you just want to take them all home. And I wish I could. I wish I could gather up an armload and carry them out, but that's not how it works.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, August 9th, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. So yesterday I told you that Joy, Anna, Jana, and Ginger were breaking some serious rules at the wedding of Jeremiah and Hannah Duggar back in April. And someone that continues to smash all kinds of rules while she's raising her children and living her best life away from the drama is Jill Duggar. So yesterday I told you about the ladies that are still entangled in the Duggar family and haven't quite broken free. Well, Ginger lives in California and has her own life away from the family. The others are more enmeshed with everything's of the going-ons of all aspects of the family. Jill, for her part, has not been as connected to the family for years, partially by choice as she set boundaries between herself and her father, and partially because her father will not allow her to come to the house without his permission and has tried to turn, allegedly, the family against her. But that hasn't stopped Jill from trying to be the best mom that she can be and break some rules along the way. So one of the things that Derek and Jill discussed in their deposition when they were suing the city and some of the officers related to a disclosure of a report connected to Josh, they talked about how Jim Bob Duggar was upset with Jill due to the fact that she wore jeans, had her nose pierced, and the fact that she liked to partake in a beverage from time to time. There was also the fact that she asked questions about the show and wanted to get paid that also seemed to put Jim Bob in a tizzy. Well, now she's out living about 45 minutes away from where the Duggars are, and that distance is making her look amazing. Recently, she's been sharing some updates on her Instagram, and I wanted to just note a couple things that I've noticed about her. So yesterday she shared this. Yesterday, Frederick and I celebrated 1 month being on this side of the womb, and he weighed 9 pounds 1 ounce. He was born weighing 7 pounds 6 ounces and has now almost caught up to his big brother's birth weight of 9 pounds 10 ounces. My goodness. They were both late and he was early. And she shared a photograph, and she was wearing short shorts way above the knees. And I was like, I love to see it. And she had a scale that they use with midwives. So somebody asked her in the comments about her career, which was something that I thought we could mention. So someone said, what scale is this? And Jill said, it's a scale my preceptor gave me while training to become a midwife. It's a fish scale with a handmade sling that connects to hold the baby. And someone said, have you ever considered going back into midwifery or doula work? I thought it was so cool when you were doing that. And Jill said, yes, I have completed all my training and passed my national exam and became a certified professional midwife when Israel was a baby, but when it was up for renewal a few years later, I chose to go inactive on my own on my midwife certification status and just keep up those requirements. That way I can keep it there for whenever I want to renew it. Thanks. Someone also mentioned that she looked great and said, how did you lose the baby weight so fast? And she said, well, I still haven't lost the baby weight yet. Enjoying lots of baby snuggles for now, and the meal train my sister set up, lifesavers. Haha. My sister set up. So one of her sisters set up a meal train for her. That's awesome. I wonder if it was Jessa or Jana or Joy. Which sister set up a meal train for her? Whoever it was, Meal trains when you have a baby are amazing. I was actually just thinking about this the other day about how I had a preemie as well. And when we were in the hospital, we had people sending us food constantly. And I was thinking about how someone had once sent me these cupcakes, and they were like these mini cupcakes, and I ate them like every night. And I was a nursing mama. So have you ever nursed? You know, you get real hungry, and I know that Jill does. So I'm sure she's enjoying that extra food. And can I just say this? I think when people push about like women losing baby weight, it always bothers me because like everybody's journey is completely different. And I don't think that you have to bounce back. You know, you guys, you made a human, you made a beautiful baby. Your body changed when you grew that little tiny human inside of you. You expanded, you might have gotten some stretch marks, like your whole life expanded. I remember my hips got so big and I was mortified, but then I had the baby and it was like all worth it. And you know what? Why should we expect our baby bodies to go back? So I liked her response that she hasn't lost the baby weight. And you guys, I don't want to ever pressure any woman to do that. So whenever there's like weight loss stuff going on social media, I try not to talk about it. But I just want to say that Jill looks gorgeous regardless. But the fact that she's thinking about going back to work made me excited. She did have her CPM, and she was working with a couple midwives that had a little bit of problems. One of the midwives that she was working with actually lost her license in the state of Arkansas. Actually, both the midwives that she previously worked with are no longer licensed in Arkansas. They're either inactive or they had some disciplinary actions. So Jill could have gotten a little bit, I don't know, freaked out maybe about all of the aspects of, you know, birthing at home. And because Arkansas allows births at home without like a midwife that's a nurse, like a certified nurse midwife, there's a little bit more risk. So I could see, you know, maybe wanting to step aside because one of her mentors had an issue with a baby, and the baby ended up with a lifetime of disabilities as a result of choices that nurse midwife made. I don't believe that Jill was actually at that birth though. So, but I know that, you know, if you have a mentor that maybe gets into some trouble, it might make you a little bit shy to go back into it. I still think that Jill should get a nursing degree, but that would be challenging now that she has 2 kids, but not impossible. She always wanted to be a nurse, and that was her thing when she was younger. She said she wanted to be a nurse. Okay, so Jill Duggar is breaking all kinds of rules. And I absolutely love to see the fact that 1, her sisters have set up a meal train for her, and 2, that she's thinking about potentially going back into work. And then she also shared another photo 3 hours ago that said, just keeping an eye out on Papa and Big Brother doing yard work this past weekend. And it again shows her with Frederick watching outside. And I just want to say that like Frederick is such a tiny little peanut. He's so, so cute. So Jill is continuing to do things her own way, and they have sold their house that was previously in, I think, Springdale, and now they are 45 minutes away in Siloam Springs. And then Derek is working in a town that's kind of on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, about, I think, 40 minutes away from where they live. So long story short, they are moving on and moving forward. But the good news is one of her sisters set up a food train. Who knew? And Jill's still wearing short shorts. What Jill hasn't done this summer is she hasn't done her annual posing in the swimwear. She has done it the last couple years, and honestly, she might not have done it this summer because she was pregnant and didn't feel comfortable putting on a bathing suit. I mean, you can't blame a lady, right? But she's never been one to shy away from wearing short shorts, showing her shoulders. Heck, she's got her nose pierced. Why would Jim Bob hate that someone has their nose pierced? Well, apparently in that world, defiling your body and doing things like piercing and tattoos is like the worst thing that you can do. They have a lot of rules in this world. Like everything is the worst thing you can do. Showing your knees is the worst thing you can do. You know, getting a nose ring is the worst thing you can do. Drinking alcohol is the worst thing you can do. Can you imagine growing up in a life where everything you're taught to fear almost all of the outside world? I was actually thinking about this when it comes to the Duggar kids. You know, on Welcome to Plathville, how the kids had to kind of figure out how to do things on their own and learn how to navigate this world by themselves because their parents didn't give them any inside information or in deals, or their parents didn't help prepare them. Do you think that there's been things in this world that the Duggars have struggled with because of their lack of worldly exposure? Or do you think it might be different for them because they grew up on TV? Like, do you think, you know how like Ethan will go use the ATM? Do you think that Jill or Derek or Jill or Joy or, you know, any of the guys have ever had a struggle where they're like, what do you do with this? How do you do this? Or do you think that being on the show might have exposed them to more things than they would have seen before? They're still kept very sheltered, and, you know, on the show they would ask them if they knew different rock bands and all of that, and they'd always say no, and they didn't know about modern things. But the Duggars have become more modern. They all have social media now, so I highly doubt they're as ignorant as they used to be. But do you think there have been things that have been challenging for them? And if you grew up in fundamentalism, can you share something that was hard for you to get your eyes, like get your thoughts around? Like when you left fundamentalism, what was one of the most challenging things that you had to learn about this world? They always talk about that as this world. Like they're in God's world and we are in this world, right? So in this world, what was hard for you? Was it trying to figure out your finances? Was it driving? Was it socializing? Was it learning that if you did something, you wouldn't burn down and go to hell? Like, what was the most challenging thing for you? And what do you think might have been the most challenging thing for Jill? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.